Shalom, wonderful person. Thank you for tuning in and checking up with what's happening here in Israel. I'm still in Bat Yam, just a little bit to the south of Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is going to be north along the coastline up there. And I'm just a little bit south of Tel Aviv in Bat Yam. Got my bicycle here. I'm not walking today. This morning I'm biking through the same area that I was walking in through here and through this whole area on Shabbat, right after I did 2 Bible studies online with video conferencing Bible studies, did 2 of them in the morning on Shabbat, and then I took a walk, and as you saw in my video out here, that's when I counted 23 rockets being flown into the area of Tel Aviv from down south there in Gaza. So the long-range missiles were reaching over here to Tel Aviv that day, on the Sabbath day, on Shabbat, starting at around 1:30 in the afternoon. And you saw that I started to run from here to get back to the buildings where I've been staying over there, those buildings. That's where I'm house sitting and taking care of someone's apartment. The apartment's very nice, much too expensive for my budget to live there in such a nice place with such a nice view and a beautiful brand new building with its own bomb shelter inside the apartment. Every apartment in that building, there's at least 3 bomb shelters that I could count on each floor, and there's about more than, 20 or 30 floors in that building. So I made it back safely to that building. I was running, but as I was running, I counted 23 missiles from Gaza exploded over my head, having been detonated by the Iron Dome system, which is a defense system, extremely amazing system, which as part of the Israeli Defense Force, you notice that it's not even, offense is not even included in that, but just for defending the people of Israel. And this defensive system sends rockets up into the air to look for the missiles that are incoming into Israeli civilian population centers, to basically detonate those missiles before they have a chance to do any damage. So I'm here, walking, hanging out, biking in the same place where that was. After Shabbat, we had another day, the Yom Rishon, the first day of the week. Later on Shabbat, we still had more missile attacks and more alerts later in the day, in the afternoon, and again at around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then again at around 5 in the afternoon. And then later that night, 12:30 a.m., there were, just looking up in the sky to see what's going on with the airplane passing by there. And then later on at 12:30, a little bit after midnight, there was another missile alert system. And for that one, I heard shrapnel landing either on the top of buildings outside or on the street. I couldn't find any shrapnel that night or the next morning on the street, but I think maybe the shrapnel had fallen on top of buildings, and I heard that from inside the bomb shelter. Since then, it's been quiet here in the Tel Aviv area, but it has not been quiet in Ashkelon and Ashdod, cities in Israel further to the south. They have been getting pounded every day, around every 15 minutes, as well as in the other places further to the south and closer to Gaza. They're in the medium range or the short range distances from Gaza. They have been getting pounded by missiles pretty much every 15 minutes, every day, for around a week now. It's very, very difficult. So I made a trip this morning to the post office. I've got a Bible arriving soon. I got a message, and I think that Bible is arriving. I had ordered it on behalf of one of the believers in the men's fellowship that I planted here. And so I wasn't able to pick it up today because I didn't have an appointment for today, but I did help one lady deal with her situation. She had trouble getting an appointment at the post office. Because of Corona, the post office has been, basically there's been a couple things happening with the flu, but then also the post office is in transition now to be transferred to a private company from the public ownership, so it's being transferred. And in the process of that transfer to a private company, they've got a system set up where you have to download the app on the phone, on the smartphone, and you have to get an appointment ahead of time. You can't just show up at the post office and wait in line anymore. You have to arrange. So some people are having problems with that application smartphone thing and getting the appointments ahead of time. So I tried to help out one lady there with getting her package and getting the application. She had an alert on her smartphone, but she didn't manage to get an appointment. So my appointment is scheduled for tomorrow at 8:05 in the morning. Hopefully I can succeed in picking up the package then. I think it's a Bible, but I hope that's what it is, because I've been waiting for a long time for that. The mail has been really, really slow. I've been waiting for this package for months and months and months. So then I was able to pop in and get some pancakes at a breakfast place, and had a nice conversation with a guy named Shlomo, who has been hunting snakes. That was his business here, working in Bat Yam for 45 years. He was hunting snakes and getting rid of snakes in people's gardens, snakes that were trying to attack people's dogs and people's children and attacking families, and he would go out and get rid of those snakes. So I had a good conversation with him, and he had mentioned that as far as he knows, there's no bomb shelter there at the Pancake Cafe or anywhere on the street. The closest bomb shelter that he knows of is way back in his apartment, which was several blocks away. So he's trusting Elohim for his protection, because it's certainly not possible to get back to the bomb shelter quick enough. So just wanted to give you an update. And also yesterday was Shavuot. So we had another Bible study yesterday morning on Shavuot, and we blew the shofars. And Shavuot, as you might know, is the counting of the 50th day from the day after Passover. That would be the 16th day of the first month, which is the day after Passover, which is on the 15th day of the first month. And so the counting of that 50 days forward, that landed on yesterday. So we had a Bible study online with the video. We blew the shofar and we read the scriptures and we encouraged one another, and we remembered Pentecost. Shavuot is the day of the outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, the set-apart Spirit of Elohim, began to be poured out in a very special way the very same year that Yeshua was crucified and resurrected. That same year, for Shavuot, Pentecost, 50 days after his death, which was on, Passover. 50 days after that, this Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the set-apart Spirit of Elohim, was poured out on that day in a very special way. So we began to remember that, and we encouraged one another, and we began to actually pray for one another to receive the outpouring of the set-apart Spirit. And I believe we're going to see more victory in that area. And I also saw that one of our congregation members requested prayer for healing for her daughter, who was sick that day. And we prayed and we proclaimed miracles. We proclaimed healing for her daughter. And about an hour or two after that time of prayer, we got message that her daughter had been healed and was planning to return back to school today. So we thank Yeshua and his power for that healing. So we thank him for that, and we give glory to Yeshua for that healing. So how can you help? Well, a couple of things. For one thing, you can pray that wherever you are in your nation, that your nation will continue to support Israel's political system in standing against these terrorists who are firing rockets and attacking people on the street with knives and car rammings and riots on the street. We ask that you can help your government, help your representatives to take Israel's side on this. That would be good. Another thing that you can do is you can help me continue with running these Bible studies and these prayer meetings and sharing Yeshua's love and his grace, and encouraging people on the roads everywhere and in the cafes wherever I go. As I ride the bike and as I walk through these areas, I'm praying in tongues constantly and proclaiming his shalom and his protection over us. And so you can help me to keep going and to take care of the groceries and the bills and paying the electricity. It's not only at times like this when Israel is in the news, but it's at all times that I've got these expenses to cover, and in order to be able to be here. So I ask for your support, and you can send that through Jerusalem Tabernacle of David. That's jtod.org, Jerusalem Tabernacle of David.org. So the initials, jtod.org, that's where you can send. And there's also info on there for either the Israeli address or the American address where you can send that support if you want to do it. So thanks for your help, and please continue to pray. See you soon.